If you weigh over 60 and you think frozen food is just a harmless shortcut to an easy meal, you might want to pause before you open that freezer door again, because what's hiding in there could silently damage your heart, your brain, and even your ability to stay active and independent. This isn't about scaring you. It's about protecting you. And in the next few minutes, you're going to hear about for frozen foods you should never touch after 60, and for frozen foods you should eat every single day if you want to stay sharp, strong, and full of life. The difference between these two lists could be the difference between living your golden years with energy and clarity, or spending them battling fatigue, memory problems, and chronic illness. And I promise, the one food I'll reveal last will shock you, because it is sitting in almost every senior's freezer right now. I remember visiting my neighbor, Mr. Lawson, last winter. He's 74, always been the kind of man who loved his independence. But when I walked into his kitchen, he was slumped at the table, rubbing his knees, complaining of constant stiffness and brain fog. As we talked, he pulled out a few easy meals from his freezer, and I instantly saw the problem. He had no idea that those neatly packaged frozen dinners were quietly loading his body with hidden salt, harmful fats, and chemicals that no human body, especially one over 60, should be dealing with daily. And yet, he thought he was doing himself a favor by eating light that day. I realize how many seniors are unknowingly sabotaging their health, and that's why you need to hear this today. The first frozen food you should never touch after 60 is the innocent-looking frozen pizza. I know. It's quick, it's tasty, and it reminds some of us of Friday nights with the family. But here is the truth. Most frozen pizzas are a perfect storm of everything your aging body doesn't need. They're loaded with trans fats that clog your arteries, sodium levels that can push your blood pressure into dangerous territory, and refined carbs that spike your blood sugar. And for seniors, these blood sugar spikes can do more than just make you tired. They can accelerate brain aging and increase your risk of dementia. I've seen it happen. One gentleman I worked with, who loved having frozen pizza twice a week, noticed his thinking felt slower, his memory fuzzier. Once we cut it out, along with a few other changes, he was stunned by how much sharper he felt within weeks. The second frozen food to keep far away is breaded and fried frozen chicken. You know the kind, crispy on the outside, soft inside, and ready in minutes. But inside the crunchy coating is a cocktail of oxidized oils, white flour, and chemical preservatives. When these oils are reheated, they produce compounds that inflame your arteries and joints. Seniors often blame old age for their aching knees or swollen fingers. But in many cases, it's the constant inflammation from foods like these. And that inflammation doesn't just hurt your joints. It silently damages your heart and your brain's blood vessels. The third dangerous frozen item is the so-called healthy frozen breakfast sandwich. They look harmless, they taste like comfort food, and they seem quick for mornings. But most are packed with processed meats like sausage or bacon, plus refined flour and hidden sugars. Processed meats are now classified by health experts as Group 1 carcinogens, meaning they may link directly to cancer risk. And here's the twist. The sugar in those fluffy buns and sauces triggers insulin spikes that drain your energy before you've even had lunch. For seniors, that energy crash can lead to falls, confusion, and a dependence on caffeine or sweets to stay awake, creating a dangerous cycle. The fourth frozen food you should avoid might shock you: frozen pies and desserts. Yes, even those light or sugar-free ones marketed to diabetics. These treats often hide artificial sweeteners that can disrupt your gut bacteria, leading to digestive issues, weaker immunity, and even mood problems. Some contain hydrogenated oils, which are among the worst fats you can eat for heart and brain health. I once had a patient, 68 years old, who was puzzled about her constant bloating and mild depression. It turned out she'd been having a slice of frozen pie after dinner almost every night. Within a month of removing it, her digestion improved, and she said her mind felt lighter and clearer. Now, you might be thinking, well, What can I eat from the freezer that won't hurt me? And here's the good news. The freezer can also be a treasure chest of health if you know what to look for. In fact, these next four frozen foods are so packed with nutrients, they could become your daily insurance policy against many of the problems seniors face. The first frozen food you should eat every day is frozen berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. The freezing process locks in their antioxidants, which fight the oxidative stress that causes cataracts, arthritis, and memory decline. One study found that seniors who ate blueberries daily had significantly better memory recall than those who didn't. They also help keep your blood sugar steady, which means fewer mood swings and better energy. And the beauty of frozen berries? They're often more nutritious than fresh berries that have sat on a store shelf for days. The second freezer hero is frozen spinach or kale. Yes, leafy greens, even frozen, are still nutritional powerhouses. They're loaded with vitamin K, which strengthens bones, and lutein, which protects your eyesight. I know a 72-year-old retired teacher who swears her sharp vision is thanks to a daily spinach omelet, and she buys her spinach frozen because it's cheaper, lasts longer, and is just as nutritious. For seniors worried about osteoporosis, frozen greens are a simple, affordable way to keep your bones strong without swallowing a cabinet full of supplements. The third frozen food you should have on hand is wild-caught frozen salmon. Packed with omega-3 fatty acids, it fights inflammation, keeps your arteries flexible, and nourishes your brain. And here's something important. Fresh salmon loses its omega-3 south quickly after being caught, but frozen salmon preserves them beautifully. One widower I worked with started eating frozen salmon twice a week after his doctor warned him about his memory lapses. Within 6 months, he noticed not only better focus but also fewer aches in his joints. And finally, the fourth frozen food to eat daily is frozen mixed vegetables, especially those with carrots, peas, and corn. These colorful veggies give you a steady supply of fiber, vitamins, and minerals that support digestion, keep cholesterol in check, and feed the healthy bacteria in your gut. Seniors who keep their gut microbiome healthy tend to have stronger immunity and even better mood stability. The key is to steam or lightly saute them without drowning them in butter or salt, so you get the full benefit without turning them into another source of hidden sodium. So here is the takeaway. The freezer isn't your enemy, but it can be a trap if you don't know what's inside. Swap out the frozen pizzas, breaded meats, breakfast sandwiches, and sugary desserts, and replace them with antioxidant-rich berries, leafy greens, omega-3 packed salmon, and colorful mixed vegetables. These swaps might seem small, but for a senior body, they can mean the difference between a sluggish, inflammation-filled life and one that's vibrant, independent, and joyful well into your later years. And remember, the last choice you make at night often shapes how you feel the next morning. If you fill your freezer with foods that heal instead of harm, you're giving your body the tools it needs to repair itself while you sleep. Don't wait until you're dealing with another doctor's warning. Open that freezer today and start making the changes that could add good years to your life.